Hi, this is Dan Elder from Kidasa Software. Welcome to this short video about inserting a baseline in Milestones Professional. So I've already got a project here and it is linked to Microsoft Project. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. You can see on my symbol links, I've got those links to the unique ID, etc. So before I insert a baseline, I will need to set up the baseline. So that'll be in the Layout tab, and I can go to Baseline Settings. And in here is where you can choose what the normal baseline start and ends are. And then if you click Next, you can change the baseline summary, start and end, and also the bars as well. And it looks like this schedule is set up to use just the same symbols for summary or the regular tasks. So that's fine. Just make sure you choose a baseline symbol in this dropdown, and it's going to be looking at your toolbox. So if you don't see a symbol there you want to use, you'll just need to double click on one of these symbols over here on the toolbox and set them to be baseline. For now though, I'll just press Next, and then you have some other options like locking the baseline or hiding that baseline, and we can also do that in the View tab later, but I'll just go ahead and press Finish. And so that doesn't actually insert it. Again, that was just Layout, Baseline Settings, just kind of setting that up. And if I go to Insert or Remove a Baseline, and then I choose Insert a Baseline, this is actually where you can insert it. And if you did not already go to Layout and do the baseline settings, it'll probably pop up those settings or ask you if you want to set those up. So I'll just go ahead and say Insert a Baseline. And then I'll get all these options. And what I'm going to do is actually probably the first one. So you can see there's three different options here. So insert symbols and bar as same dates as existing, start and end on each row. You can also do the second option, which will match each normal symbol and bar on each row. So this is if you've got multiple tasks on each row. That's probably what you'd want to choose there. Since I've got each task on its own row, the first option should be fine. And this one is just going to insert, the third option is just going to insert the symbols, so the start and finish, for instance, and it would not draw a bar between those. So just keep that in mind. That's kind of the difference there. And I am going to choose one level down, and the reason for that is it'll be one level down vertically within this same row, so the baseline should just kind of appear right under this one. Otherwise it might kind of overlap and kind of look weird, but it depends on how your toolbox is set up, how you might want to do that. Since it's tagged with project, I've got this checkbox right here, so that's going to automatically add another tag to those baseline symbols to kind of match up with the existing tags for these normal symbols. So like if this is unique ID 5 for the start, it would be 5, start. And when it inserts this baseline symbol, it'll be 5, baseline start. So then I could refresh from project. So it is important to note this isn't going to grab the dates automatically from project. We will need to go through that refresh process to actually get those dates to apply. And I'll show you that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And then it should just insert that based on what I chose in that Layout tab. And you can see they're all on the same dates right there. And just to verify, if I click on a symbol, you can see in that symbol link subtab, it says 3, start, name. So that's the start date from project. And if I press left or right on my keyboard, it should kind of scroll through any symbols on that same row. So you can see that's baseline start, this one kind of highlighted down here. Same thing with this row. I can just kind of press left or right on my keyboard and scroll through all of the symbols on this task row. If you press up or down on your keyboard, you can go to the next rows. So that's a good way to kind of select these symbols when they're on the same date. Especially, it's kind of hard to select different symbols on the same row. So you can do that with the keyboard arrow keys right there. So I'm going to refresh this from project. If I go to the Connections tab, click on Refresh Previously Imported Project, and then refresh from MPP, and it'll make me save my schedule, and then I've got that schedule right there. And I'm going to choose Unique ID. I'm not going to go over the whole refresh process right now, but we do have some videos on this that kind of shows all of the important options and stuff. But I will have Highlight Change Dates turned on, and it should highlight all of those and then also list them out in the refresh report. So actually I'm going to uncheck refresh symbol text as well. And then I will actually keep ignore times checked. I don't really care about the time of the day for a lot of these tasks, so I'll just keep that checked and then click on refresh. And it should kind of connect to project and read the project file, and you can see the baselines got updated. So originally they got inserted on the same dates as the normal tasks, but you can see they got adjusted to the actual baseline dates from project. And you can see them right here. The refresh report lists them all out. We've got another video on refreshing as well to kind of get some more details about this refresh report. You can kind of see that right there. So if I press OK, I've got the refresh highlighting in the connections tab. I could just uncheck that if I don't want to see it. But you can see the baseline dates all got adjusted, and you can see where the normal dates are in comparison to those baseline dates right there. So the next thing we can do is, like, I can click on this symbol, and the default when you insert it, it's going to be doing baseline start. If you wanted to change that to some other baseline, you could actually do a find and replace. So for instance, I could copy baseline start and go to the edit tab, and I would do find replace all. And I would search in the symbol tag text, so just make sure that's the only one checked. And then I could just replace it. For instance, instead of baseline start, I could say baseline to start and begin search replace. And then all those got replaced. And then I would do the same thing with finish. So I could just do that right here before I even close and change that to baseline to finish. Begin search replace. So now if I press done, I can go back to these symbols. And then next time I refresh, it's going to be refreshing from this baseline to start, for instance, and baseline to finish for the finish symbols. So that's kind of the basics on inserting a baseline and refreshing that baseline from project, and then also changing it if you don't want to use the default kind of, baseline start and baseline finish. You can do that edit tab and then find and replace. That's pretty much it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to email support@kidasa.com and visit our website at kidasa.com. Have a nice day.